Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer. I am a lyrical psychologist. Today, we're going to talk about understanding how to get into the higher realms, how to elevate your life to a higher state of consciousness, to a higher state of wisdom, a higher state of understanding. And if you're not interested in this, then I suggest not to watch this, right? Because that's why we're here. But if you are not invested in knowing this and living this and unfolding it in your life, then don't waste your time because I'm not here to convince anybody about this. I'm here to encourage and to we're going to just explore more how to do this in a real way. So I was reading today. I take out time every day to read, usually every day, to read and to meditate. But these are the meditations of Marcus Aurelius. And so he was around, let's see, I think it was the 180 he died. So he was emperor of Rome at 161 AD. So this was just 100 years or so, a little over 100 years after Christ was here and experienced that. And so one of the quotes I was reading today, these are his personal meditations, right? So I'm going to quote this. I'm glad this guy translated it for us. But anyway, so these were his own meditations. And what he did, the beginning of this book talks about, look at this, look at the back. I can show the back of the book, right? It says, fate is hanging over your head while you have life, while you may become good. And so we're talking about higher love, and that's the song that came to me, a Steve Winwood song. I already did a teaching on this song. I use songs because what Marcus Aurelius is talking about is how to change your life. Just think, in your childhood, you got repeated messages over and over and over again from the experiences you had from your parents and the collective, whatever's going on in the collective unconsciousness and consciousness, whatever. In our society, they teach you, all these things, like you better work hard, the early bird catches the worm or whatever. Or you are worth if you accomplish X, Y, and Z, or you have innate worth, or you're made in the image and likeness of divine love, of God, right? We learn different things, and people can say one thing with their mouths, teach you truths. So you have the ideas in your head and they have them, but they're not living them at all. So if they're living unconsciously, there was a disconnect. You're getting these truths, but then you're getting actions that contradict those truths. And so there's a lot of complications we have in our minds. But when we go into this being state, sometimes when we're quiet, we get an understanding of the deeper truth. So you get a knowing of who you are beyond your name, beyond your skin color, beyond your job, beyond whatever you identify yourself with, your thought forms that we're so constantly wrapped up in our own thoughts, our own problems. Egotism can always find more problems, right? And so let me read what he said, because I think this really sets the framework for us exploring this, bring me a higher love, right? And so what I was saying also is I did do another teaching of this, but I haven't published that as of the making of this video because I'm still working with the record labels to get permission. So right now I'm just briefly quoting these songs, and I'm doing cover songs on YouTube where I can put them out. And if I need to take them down, I'll take them down. Or if they will get money for them, then they will, because I don't know. This is a pioneering field. But what Marcus Aurelius was saying is that because of the repetition of the old information, the programming we got from our parents in childhood, you need to repeat over and over and over and over and over new information. Not just repeat, but it's like practicing a new habit. If you spent 30 years of your life smoking, then it's like, you don't have another 30 years to practice filling your life with a better habit than that. You have detaching your energy that you put into that, and the energy will come back to you and will flow and this isn't weird esoteric stuff. It's just You know, if I spent 2 hours a day standing on my head, you know, I have those 2 hours back. I'm not doing that anymore. So what am I going to do with this energy and this time that I have? And so developing good habits and new thoughts can transform your old way. Now, I'll quote the Holy Scriptures. I welcome all people of all religions. We're meant to go find the lost sheep, not run after. I'm not going to chase after people. If you want this information, come and get it. It's usually because we've had enough pain in our lives. We're done with that old program and we want the real thing. And so I'm about equipping people with the real thing. And so when we go for that, the new information, we're really coming back to that. I was going to say, I quote scriptures, you're made in the image and likeness of God. You're coming back to who you really are. It says, be not conformed to this world. All right. Now understand the world as the world of your early childhood. You can see it this way. I'm a psychologist. I have my doctorate in psychology. I went to graduate school and all that for 9 years, and then I've been practicing for 20. So I've been studying this for over 30 years because I got my master's first in undergrad. Anyway, you can look up my credentials all you want. I don't mind. I don't want to spend all my videos talking about them. So, you know, I'm an author, and I was did a national radio. I was a national radio host, co-host for a long time, or for a while, answering. Anyway, so be not conformed. Con is with, formed with. Do not be. This is the warning, you know, the teaching to take us to a higher place. Be not conformed to this world, to the world of your childhood, to the world of you're not worth. You have to keep proving yourself. You have to keep living in this neurotic way, believing in all of these thoughts that keep running in your head, that always keep saying you are the problem. You have a problem. You have to prove yourself more. You have to earn more. You have to have a better looking. You have to be better looking. You have to better looking spouse. You know, a fancy car. You know, big fine clothes. You know, I'm thinking of another song, Mr. Big Stuff, right? You got to be Mr. Big Stuff, Mrs. Big Stuff, you know, to have any worth. None of that's true. That's not true. You have innate worth. Be ye not conformed to this world, but instead be ye transformed by the renewing, coming to a higher understanding of your nous. Nous. It's a Greek word that's more than your mind. It's translated as mind, but it's like, it's the faculty within yourself that's able to perceive knowledge and perceive truth and come to nuanced understandings of highest truth, highest love. So be ye not conformed to this world, to that old way of thinking that you internalized without thinking. You just internalized because you didn't have boundaries as a child. And instead be ye transformed by the renewing of your nous, your mind. It's conformed in Christ Jesus. I think it's like formed, like Christ always lived highest truth, highest love. No matter what you think of Christ, go read his words and you'll see he always lived in highest consciousness. He always lived very deeply present. I keep contemplating that it's like 80% of what the church needs to know is in this mindfulness area, and then they're missing this 20% of Christ, which is the foundation for all of it, which they're teaching actually from the truth that the Logos already brought us, the light that was in the world that created the world. And so the teachings in the mindfulness group and being deeply present come from the Creator, right? Except the church has like forgotten how to be present, how to be still. They're wrapped up in these ideas, and then the church might have this 20% that is the truth, but they don't know how to apply it because they don't know how to be quiet. This is the problem that I'm seeing all the time. And so I welcome you as you enter into this with me. Now, let me say the quote and then I'll get into the song here, because then when I go to this other part on my website that you can buy for now, I'm selling it very, very low cost, at least 1/4 or more of the cost that I'm going to have it later after the new year. I'm going to raise the price. So go there and you can get the rest. But listen to this quote, right? This is from Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, right? from around the 100s, around 150s AD, right? As doctors have their instruments and scalpels always at hand to meet sudden demands for treatment, so do you have your doctrines ready, your understanding, your principles. Get your mind sharp, right? Ready in order to recognize the divine and the human. You have these two natures, the divine nature and the human nature. You are a soul, you're in this body. And so to do everything, even the very smallest, as mindful of the bond which unites the divine and human, for you will not do any act well. You will not do any act well which concerns man without referring it to the divine. And the same is true of your conduct to God, right? You won't do any unless you're aware of the connection to the divine. And so look, I have all these angels in my office, right? I didn't do that consciously. It just happened. 2 of those are prints that were given to me. And so this song by Steve Winwood, it goes, bring me a higher love. And I'll put, I already have a cover of it that I sang a long time ago. 4 years ago, I sang this song because it was coming to me. Think about it. There must be a higher love. I'm quoting him. I'm referencing the song. Down in your heart, right? I'm always wearing this heart to remind us, drop out of your mind into your heart, or hidden in the skies above, just like Marcus Aurelius was talking about. Without it, life is wasted time. Our time is all wasted. What are we going to be? Some kind of housewives on a, TV show? It's like, I'm not making fun of any of that. I'm saying, what is your life if it's just about being on a TV show? If you have no more depth or spiritual awareness, I'm not calling them shallow. I'm just saying, whatever our life is, if I'm running around just working all the time, proving that I'm a good psychologist, it's the same worthlessness. I wrote down one of his quotes. It's like, applause is shallow. Meditate on how shallow applause is, right? Okay, so think about it. There must be a higher love down in your heart, right? Get back in your heart center. Connect your mind back to your heart, or hidden in the skies above. Look up, look up. Your redemption draws nigh, right? Draws near you. It's go back to this oneness. Your head up, connected to the divine, feet on the ground, arms open, full of love and forgiveness towards yourself and other people. Go back to this oneness instead of living in this duality of always being in judgment, always being in egotism, always being in lack. Come back to the abundance of knowing there's no lack in your beingness, in understanding. Like Christ came to reconcile us with a perfect God. There's a mystery in that I'm not just preaching that. I'm saying there's a mystery to understand about that. So begin your contemplation if you haven't before. Down in your heart or hidden in skies above. Without it, life is wasted time. Consider if it is. Notice it. It's kind of like we don't want to go look at our accounting book and be like, oh, how have we been spending our money, or open our mail with a bunch of bills or something. But you got to do that. Have courage and do that. I'm not saying those things. Yes, do those things. But this is looking inward, going, who have I been rejecting? What have I been doing in my life? How deep is your love, right? The Bee Gees song. How deep has my love been? How shallow has my life been? Don't do it to criticize yourself. Challenge yourself without judgment. Challenge yourself by going, wait, if I take an inventory right now, what are these old thoughts that I've been living on? Why have I been thinking according to those old ways? How can I come to a newer understanding? How can I actually take self-responsibility for this? The people in lack and egotism are always blaming. It's always other people. We got to reject them. They're the bad guys, not me. Just look and see. It's just like if I've got rats in my house, I got to look at them and then take care of it and clean it out, right? It's not a judgment. It's just understanding, right? So it says, oh, I forgot. It says, look inside your heart and I'll look inside mine. I have over 900 free videos on YouTube. So there's hours and hours and hours of that resources. I look inside mine because I don't want anyone to be intimidated. Let's look at this stuff so we can clean it out. So you can get to the other side of it and not keep building this apparatus to keep avoiding life. All right, so this is where we're going with this. If you want the more teaching, come with me to the other side of this. I'll put the link in the description. I appreciate it. Right now, I'm going to go on with the other people. And thank you to Steve Winwood for letting me reference your song.